Hello and welcome to Behind the Headlines. I'm Marty Radovanik, and tonight we're going to talk about something. I don't think you could live in Blair County or its environs and not know about what we're going to talk about today. The event is one thing, but the people who run the event that you're about to meet are, I don't even know how to describe them, is that they're like world famous celebrities. Because they're on TV, they collectively they may have been on TV more than I have. But let's there, and it's a mother-daughter duo, which is unusual for this program, but we're very happy. Mom is Denise, daughter is Sienna. Both of them are Stones. Denise is the founder of the Blair County Food Drive, and Sienna is on the board of directors as a VP. If you say Blair County Food Drive and you've lived here for any length of time, and I'm going to start with you, Denise, I don't know that anybody alive would not know what we're talking about. You have done a phenomenal job making this event an event with a capital E. So I want to take it back to when it started. How many years ago?
So I started doing Food Drive about 23 years ago.
Okay.
And each year since then, the need has just gotten bigger and bigger.
That's a lot of work for a 10-year-old if it was 22 years ago. Okay.
My favorite person today.
But 22 years ago, we think we talk a lot about need for people to have food like it's a brand new thing that,
Right.
Obviously 22 years ago, I'm sure the need was great as it is today, not as great as
I would say there was a great need, but the need has definitely increased. I mean, each year that I speak with all of the different organizations, and this year we're giving to close to 35 different nonprofit groups. And just from when we did Food Drive in the spring till now, the need has already gone up even higher. And it's heartbreaking.
Sienna, you said you're 23.
I am.
So you would not have had much of a concept other than being her mother and being around this. But I'm assuming that as you grew up, as most of us grew up in families where, when we had to eat, we ate. We didn't think about it. We were fortunate. We were blessed. I grew up in a very middle-class family in Ohio. We ate some meals that, like my wife says, why don't you ever order salmon? And I said, because my mother used to make what were called salmon patties out of the stuff that came in a can. I don't think it was salmon, but I had it so many times. I don't order salmon when I go out. Point is, you didn't grow up in an atmosphere where you were hungry.
Yeah.
Did you have a vision? Did you understand what your mom was working to? Did you feel the depth of what it was?
Yeah, I think growing up, so involved in the food drive. I mean, I was 6 months old when she started this, so there's quite literally a time that I just don't remember doing this.
Right.
But it's one of those things that I think I'm very appreciative of it because I grew up with a different perspective. Because I was aware, like, our Thanksgiving family tradition was the food drive. Like, that's what I looked forward to for Thanksgiving because I knew that's what we did as a family before the food drive. But being so close to the groups and growing up knowing them and hearing all the stories over the years, I feel like helped my perspective of knowing, I mean, it's a small community, but it doesn't mean there's not a need for food.
Do you think people of your generation understand that need? And I'm not talking about direct friends because they would, because they see what you do.
Yeah.
But do you think people in their early 20s would have that feeling, or are they more concerned about other things?
I think it depends on who you meet. I mean, obviously, with us living in the digital age, there's a lot of things being shown on, the media about it. But also, some people might not be so concerned because it's not affecting them.
Sure.
And that can go with any generation. But if they're not seeing it or if it's not something that's in their lives actively, they might not just even think about it.
Denise, has it always been stuff the truck, or did you do it? Did it
So the
morph into that? Or
So yeah, we kind of built into that. The first year that I did Food Drive, there was a certain situation that just affected me, and I instantly felt this calling and just felt like it was something I needed to do. We did like about 65 local families in Hollidaysburg, and we even separated the food. We had just moved into our house about 3 months before that, and I didn't have furniture in my living room at that point yet, and we separated the food in my living room. So Sienna at 6 months, my son was 3.5 years old, And he was helping us stack cans. And my husband was making little signs that here's where the peas go and here's where the potatoes go. And it just, I was like, okay, we can't do this here next year because I will have furniture and this is a lot of food. And that was only basically a day and a half's worth. And so each year we just kept growing and growing. And I then got to the point where I knew that there were so many more people out there that needed it that I was not able to reach. And so I then started tapping into the different nonprofit groups because they already knew they had a database of who needs it and who needs more than others may need. And I hate to say it like this, but I didn't necessarily want to be, judge and jury of who gets it.
Oh no,
but,
I understand that.
But you know what? Like these groups that are out there, the soup kitchens and food pantries and food banks and the after school programs. I mean, they are just amazing.
Let's talk about that though. Do you have to qualify to get benefits from the food drive?
No. So we give
Because there are a lot of organizations
There
who
are.
have to meet a certain threshold.
There are definitely.
Right.
You're absolutely
this,
right.
Though,
But there are the majority of the groups that are out there now have no qualifications that you have to meet. If you go in and you say, I need food, they are going to help you. And I love that because, and this is something that I tell our volunteers all the time. Like no matter what food drive it is, no matter, what we're doing throughout the year, is I say, you cannot judge somebody that is, say we're out there standing at Sam's and, I had heard one volunteer, and this was a few years back, and that's what made me then realize that I really needed to preach this part of it. But the one volunteer said, I can't believe that some of these people are not giving us anything. And I said, I want you to just think about this for a second. I said, first of all, you don't know if they gave on the way in at the entrance, if they gave cash. You don't know what their situation is. Some of them going in there, they may look like they are dressed to the hilt. However, they may have gotten that at a secondhand shop. They may be out of work.
Yeah.
They may have health issues.
Sure.
We cannot judge anybody that is out there. That is not up to us. From where I stand, that is up to the maker. And I said, all you can do is just be kind out here. And if people can give to us, they will. And people have. Our community, oh my goodness, I get choked up every time I say this, but it's true. Our community is incredibly amazing.
Seems to me, and I don't mean to interrupt, but it seems to me like it's something they circle their calendars. And like you said, Thanksgiving was always the time for the food drive because it's like, oh, it's coming up.
Yeah.
And we want to be a part of this.
Yeah.
And it doesn't seem like, weather's going to impact it.
Rain or shine.
Yeah, but
snow
you know
or
what?
sleet,
But
we're
I
out
mean,
there.
it's like people look forward to
Yeah.
it, and
Yeah.
and they start. And in terms of trying to identify, and I always think of this. My mom, in the last couple of years of her life, after my dad died, she'd gone through some tough things, and she was not wealthy by any. She would classify as whatever definition of poor you want to use. She had a job that didn't pay her much money, and I would tell her all the time, I'd go, Mom, why don't you use food stamps? No, food stamps are for the poor. And I would say, Mother, you qualify because you're not eating. I'm not going to do that because there are people that are worse off than I am. I have a job. And I said, I know, but you're not making enough money. And you definitely qualify. She would, to the day she died, she would not take, and that was, let's see, she died in 93, so we're probably talking in the early 90s. I don't want to say there weren't food drives, but the concentration on people without wasn't as great then as it is now. You always had the Salvation Army. The bell ringers have been out there forever, so you knew there were poor people that needed help. But she just wouldn't do it. She just refused to do it, and I would think that there are still people who feel that way.
There truly are.
If you're hungry and you don't have it, and someone wants to help you and give it to you, my wife and I donate to these types of causes. Our church has an assistance ministry that does all sorts of things in the Johnstown area, and we always contribute to it because it's a blind donation. They don't know how much it is. I don't do it by check. I do it by cash because they don't care.
Right.
The money goes to people who need it. They don't ask you anything except, why are you calling us? Once you tell them, bingo, you can get what you want.
Absolutely.
Do you find the people who walk, and both of you, either one of you can answer this, when they walk up to the truck, you think they're happy to be there, to be helping?
I think so personally. I think kindness is a chain reaction. So whenever people donate at the truck, I feel like it makes them happier. I feel like they are proud to be not only doing something good, but especially for their community. It's something that, maybe that's the pep in their step that they needed for the day to, carry on, and maybe
Yeah.
that'll lead them to want to do more good things.
Have you ever heard personally from people who benefited from the food drive?
Yeah, all the time, actually. We have people that come out to the food drive, and there's a lady that came out last spring, and she said, she came up to meet me, and I was just blown away. And she says, I wanted to seek you out. She said, I knew you were the person that runs this, and I personally have to tell you thank you. And I'm like, go on, for what? And she said, yes, for everybody else, but you doing this helped me feed my family for the last 4 years. She said, this year, I am here because I am doing so much better, and I'm here to give back. And she came back out with 2 carts full of food, filled. She did not take one of those things to her car. She dropped every single item off right there to us. And I mean, they always have a running joke as to how many times I'm going to cry during the food drive. But things like that, just, it's so heartfelt. And this is the thing that I say to a lot of people, that throughout the year, different places, you may hear people saying, and I'm just going to repeat what they say. So, some people will be like, oh, Altoona people suck, and, people in the community. And I say, You know what? You need to come out and stand where I stand. You need to come out. You need to listen to what people are saying. You need to see what people are doing. It is going to 110% renew your faith in humanity. And it's absolutely true. Being out there, some of the people that you would think are, if you're to judge by looks, you would think, oh, this person is not going to give us anything. And this is what my volunteers have seen over the years, is it's the people that have also been there so much, that know what it's like.
Yeah.
So they are out there giving back, even if it's just one can. Hey, we are so appreciative, because that is huge.
It's not about the amount that you donate.
It's not. And anything you can do is huge. It's absolutely huge.
So, young perspective and a more mature perspective. You see the way I did that? I'm going to
That was good.
It was the young perspective. Why is it important that people your age get involved in something like this as you view it?
Well, I've been used to it from a very young age, but whether you've been doing it your whole life or just starting out, I think it really does. I feel like it's changed my perspective on people. Like, I'm never going to be the one to judge somebody or be rude to somebody or be like, oh, well, that's not my problem, because you know what? Who cares if it's not my problem? Because I would hope somebody would care if I was in their shoes. And also, the younger you start, you can carry that in your whole life. Like, one of my favorite things during the food drive to see is parents, they'll hand the donations to their kids to come and donate, because they're teaching them young, it's a good thing to give back. And
Right.
I know that, that child growing up like that, they're going to grow up and they're going to do that with their kids, and they're going to want to continue that.
Did you ever think, Lord, why did I get this privileged life? And I see the people who don't have what I have. Did you ever say, because I've been in that situation, and it's like in a prayer, it's like, okay, I'm not quite sure what you're doing here. Like, why did you make my mother in that position where she couldn't afford stuff, but because she was a staunch, very devout Catholic who said, no, the poor need it, I don't, and I'm not poor, as I told you. And I said, no, Mom, you qualify, but she didn't want it. But it was like, I don't understand. I had trouble growing up and saying, why do they not and why do I? And we didn't have much, but we had more than they do. Do you feel like that at all anytime? Is that part of your motivation for this? Or I'm just curious what the mindset is.
So when I was in elementary school, my family lived in Logan Hills Apartments. It was a challenging time for our family, but we always had. My parents both worked a lot, and had the babysitters, and my older sister would watch us and things like that. And then by the time I was in 6th grade, we moved into a house, and life looked a little different then. But for me, I have always been able to approach people and I don't want to say sales, but kind of like getting out there and being out and about with people, and some may say I have a gift for gab, which I won't deny.
No,
But-
you're
but
confident,
I
and
think that-
you can talk about things that are important to you. That's not a gift of gab.
Well,
That's a talent.
my
but-
husband may differ on that one,
Well,
but
you don't think my wife has any thoughts about me? Are you kidding me? Okay.
Yeah. But the thing is I truly believe that I was put in that grocery store that day whenever I saw this young mom and her 2 kids. And I was a couple people back from her, and she only had about 10 or 12 items on the conveyor belt there. And she kept leaning over to the cashier and saying, okay, can you take and put those 2 back? And then she'd, take those off the
Because
checkout.
she didn't have enough
She
money.
didn't have enough money.
She watched it as it's going up.
So she ended up with about 3 or 4 items. And that was the moment that I knew that something needed to be done. I worked my way through around the person in front of me, had them hold my stuff, had the lady at the cashier hold her stuff. And I spent probably the next 20, 30 minutes out in the parking lot talking to this young mom, hearing her story, got her information, and I ended up taking like a car full of food over to her house. And that's when I was like, okay, like
This is
I
one,
can
but
do
there's
this.
got to be a lot more
Yeah.
than one, right?
Yeah.
I feel like
yeah.
it's also one thing that I've learned recently is you can't always control the cards you've been dealt, but you can control how you play them. So it's like you can't
That's so
control, but you can choose the actions that follow.
That's excellent. I've never heard it put that way, but I like that, and I'm going to steal it. I'm going to
That's
use.
okay. I give you permission.
Okay, thank you. Give me the lay of the land. What happens? Where does it happen? How does it happen? Because we haven't talked about the mechanics of the food drive.
So for our fall food drive, it actually takes well over 1,200 volunteers to be able to make this the success that it is
Really?
at the capacity that we have built it to. We are now at 3 different locations. We are at Sam's Club and Walmart in Altoona, and we are at East Freedom Walmart. Now, we just pulled in East Freedom Walmart last fall. That was our first time bringing in our 3rd store. And typically, we do Sam's Club for 10 days, and last year we did both Walmarts for 7 days each. This year, we're also doing the Altoona Walmart for 10 days.
Okay.
So we are continuously trying to keep expanding what we're doing.
The need
And
is growing,
it
so
is.
why wouldn't the response
Sadly,
grow?
it is.
Yeah.
And as long as we have the volunteers that are stepping up and saying, yeah, you know what, we want to be a part of this. We want to help. And they're of all ages. I mean, we have volunteers that have been volunteering with me since they were coming with their parents. And some of them are now adults with their own children, and they're bringing them back.
So let's
It's
talk about the
amazing.
volunteers. The television station, we have 2 days.
Yeah. yeah.
Wednesday the 5th and Thursday the 6th. Wednesday we're in East Freedom and Thursday we're at Sam's Club.
Yeah.
So we're just one local
Exactly.
employer in Altoona that they don't force us. It's open. You want to
Right.
volunteer, you want to help. What about other people? Maybe companies, or they work for a company and think, well, maybe we haven't done it before. So how do they get involved? You can. I'm sorry, but you
No,
talk
go
all the
for it.
time. I want
yeah,
to give
no,
her,
go for it, Sienna.
But seriously, how would
Yes.
they what would they do? How would they do it? Who would they contact?
Yeah, so they would, I mean, if you have my mom's number or my number, reach out personally that way. Or on our Facebook page, Blair County Food Drive, you can DM us on there. Our website should be live in about a day or 2. There's stuff on there. Absolutely feel free to do that. I know Your Building Centers, who's one of our biggest sponsors, their employees are coming out for 2 days.
And
they're
let's go
doing
full
it.
disclosure. You work for YBC.
I do.
No,
I
that's
do.
fine. I mean,
Yeah.
I don't want people to say, "Oh, she's just doing this for her boss."
No, one thing I'm very appreciative about is them wanting to help the community.
Sure.
They know I am involved in this, and they said this is an amazing organization, and they came to me and said, "How can we be involved? Because we want to help the community."
Do you have a goal of, and I don't know how you measure it. Do you do it in pounds, tons, item? How?
So, last fall, we had just in green beans, only from Sam's, not including what we got from the other stores. And they also had their green beans on sale for like, I think it was the 8-pack of the cans, and they were like $5 at the most. And so at that price, we went through and counted all of the green beans just in those cases. And we had $22,000 worth of green beans. That's not the loose cans, and that's only green beans.
Yeah.
So people go to they'd go to the Sam's Club in Altoona or the East Freedom Walmart, go into that store, buy, and bring it out to you for your truck or whatever. They don't have to carry it all over the place, right?
Exactly. We try to make it convenient for everybody. Now, if they want to go through and clean out their pantry, we just ask that they check expiration dates. They're more than welcome to do that. If they want to shop at a different store, that's fine too.
What if they want
Drop
to
it
give you
off.
money? Do you take money, or is it
We
just...
do. We do, because that goes towards the turkeys for the families and the nonprofit groups. And also, there are a couple groups that we donate to that we don't necessarily get everything that they need. The City Blessings out of Center City Church in Altoona, they provide a Thanksgiving meal for over 1,000 people every year. And a good bit of the stuff that they need to be able to put this meal on, we don't necessarily get donated. So that allows us to go in, whether it be gift cards or monetary donations, it allows us to get exactly what we need. And we don't give any of the groups anything that they don't need. And I always use this reference, but we wouldn't give one of the backpack programs a turkey, because those kids can't carry it home in the backpacks.
Right.
So
right.
we're not going to give anybody anything that they absolutely cannot use. And the Hollidaysburg Junior High cafeteria, by the time we are done unloading the trucks and separating the food, and we do 2 different unload days, the cafeteria looks like a grocery store itself.
Things are stacked higher, taller than us.
Yeah.
So it starts what day and ends what day?
So it starts on October 31st and it ends on November 9th.
So there's a lot of opportunities.
Oh my
Don't think
gosh,
it's a
yeah.
one-day thing.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Now, you're in marketing.
I
You
am.
understand the value of sending. I wonder what you would think.
Okay.
If
hit me
we
with it.
had someone authentically wearing her crown and her sash as Miss Pennsylvania, which this young lady was in what year?
Oh my goodness. Oh,
I mean, if
a long time ago.
Miss, now think about this from a marketing standpoint.
Yeah.
If Miss Pennsylvania with the tiara and the sash was donating money or donating food,
Yeah.
well, if she can do it, I certainly can. Don't you think that would be a good marketing hook?
I mean, I do. We have a lot of Blair County celebrities that you don't even know about.
Right.
They come and donate a lot of food and money that you don't even know about. And I know we had Megan Sinisi.
Megan Sinisi.
She was Miss Pennsylvania 3 years ago?
Yeah.
3 years ago. She came out, she volunteered, she donated.
So you were Miss Pennsylvania when? Now, come on. You were Miss Pennsylvania in what year?
It was in the 80s. So just
What
say it was
80s?
It was
You are
in
legitimately
86.
Miss
It
Pennsylvania.
was in 86. It was
In
a long time ago.
1986. Your daughter's
Yeah.
very proud of that. and you should, I'm just telling you, if I show up, do you still have your crown and your sash somewhere?
Well, I own a dance boutique, so I have a lot of crowns over there. If people want crowns, they can come over and get their own.
No, but you should wear. I'm just telling you, I think that'd be a great hook. Listen, guys.
It's not about me. It is so about the people.
I understand that. I understand that, but I couldn't let that go. I've been sitting here thinking,
You're a funny guy. You
how
can
do I
make
how do I
comedian
work
on the
this
side.
in here? But I thought the marketing thing is a great idea,
that
right?
is
And I knew
true.
you'd appreciate
That
it.
is true. We actually have at the spring one last year, we had the Easter Bunny show up.
There you go.
And Santa Claus the one year as well.
So what, Santa Claus, Easter Bunny,
That was for
Miss
a Halloween
Pennsylvania.
That was Halloween.
Listen, guys, you do a phenomenal job.
Thank you for
and
having
thank
us.
you so much
Yeah.
for making life here better than maybe it should be, because there's people like you that think like you do and take action like you do. So Denise,
Thank you.
Sienna, you
Thank you
guys
so
are just,
much.
and
We
I got your
appreciate it.
name right. I
You
didn't get it
did.
wrong.
You did.
I
Thank you.
wrote it in big letters, so I would.
Sounded
So
it out.
anyway, it's coming up soon. You're going to hear a lot about it. Do your part, help out, and just think if you were them, if you were the person needing the food, you'd really appreciate it as well. So thanks for joining us. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next time.